Good morning. This morning I want to talk about eating peaches. If you've never eaten a peach and someone says to you there is this beautiful fruit with the most subtle, magnificent colours, the sweetest juice, a taste that is so delicious on your tongue, and even just talking about it makes my mouth water because I love peaches. And when I spent time in Crete, they would bring the fruit down from the high plains every day freshly and put it in this local supermarket where I went to, where a guy sat at the counter looking very Greek with a gun sitting behind of him. He was a lovely big bear of a man, but I wouldn't want to cross him. And he said it was to shoot the occasional black rat that would go running under the counters. But back to peaches. They were the most beautiful peaches I have ever eaten. They were warmed by the Greek Mediterranean sun and the cool air of the mountains, and they were delicious. Now, if you've never eaten peaches, then if someone were to say to you, there is such a thing, but you need to go find the peach trees, and I can tell you where the best peach trees are. You might have to take a long journey to get there, but I can tell you where they are and where you can get them. You wouldn't go anywhere unless you believed the person who was telling you. To drop the metaphor, which I'm sure you've all got by now, we're not going to go looking for God, the divine, the source, love, him, her, themselves, unless we believe the person who's talking, unless we at least are made curious by the person who's talking, or persuaded by their descriptions of their experience with peaches. And my mouth's still watering because I haven't had breakfast. And it's a beautiful foggy morning here at Sandy Point in Australia, right down the south of Australia near the southernmost tip. And it is a glorious, glorious morning. And you won't go looking unless you believe that there's something to look for. Because the search does require effort. Sometimes it just happens to us, but oftentimes there's a little call inside of us and a little homing beacon inside of us, and we have to fight our way through all of the voices screaming at us that there's no such thing as God, and God's dead, and it's all just religious junk, which is what I used to believe, at least as far as the Christianity was concerned. I knew about spirituality, but I didn't realize the kind of spiritual power that I'd been seeking all the time was embedded in what's called Christianity, which often is not a true spiritual path. It's Christianism. As a great teacher of mine, Kenneth Copeland, puts it, Christianism, it's a dogma, it's religious doctrines, it's created by people, made up by people to control other people, and I'm just not interested in religion. But I am interested in truth. I am interested in the spiritual path and in power. And so I went looking for peaches from an early age. I was blessed. I knew that they existed. And one way or the other, I just kept seeking until finally, the great, sweet, juicy being himself turned up, and they say in their own, in the teachings, in the Holy Manual, says, taste the Lord and see that he is good. Don't take anybody else's word for it. Try it for yourself. Try it out. And that's what we're all looking for in the end. We're looking for an experience of God. And I'm here to tell you that God is alive and well, that he is a being. He lives in another dimension of this world, or rather this world as a distorted dimension of the spiritual kingdom, that our physics tells us that we live in an illusory world where things look solid, but really they're vibrating packets of energy. The table that you look at seems to be solid, but in fact it is vibrating atoms and subatomic particles, and the extraordinary thing is that the latest subquantum level physics is saying that the fundamental particles, or the fundamental constituents of matter, are not, as they might have thought, some tiny, tiny, tiny energy packet of matter, but actually they are sound. They're now thinking that quarks are constituted by sound, which is extraordinary, because Hindu spirituality has taught for 10,000 years that the fundamentals of the universe are created from words and sounds. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, the Holy Manual says the same thing. Genesis began with God said, God said, God said, and we are taught. And I'll go on to talk about how we are taught to speak. I'm just checking the time. Don't want to make it too long. So I'm here to say that the good news for today is that the Lord is alive and well, and very accessible and wanting to reach you, but you are going to have to make the effort, and that means you're going to have to believe someone enough to go on the search, and you're going to have to find it for yourself, because really the only thing anyone's ever interested in is not beliefs and ideas and religious stuff. It's personal encounters with the divine. My life changed when I had a personal encounter with the divine, and I'm here to tell you that you can have a personal encounter, and until you do, none of it will mean anything. And the Lord, the divine beings are always trying to draw you. He says, I'll allure you into the wilderness so I can speak tenderly to your heart. He's always trying to speak, and to speak tenderly and lovingly, and he's always trying to get us to go looking. And the wilderness is the place away from the noise, away from the cities, away from the everyday, the hustle and bustle, the things that keep us locked into our outer senses, that stop us dreaming and stop us imagining and stop us sensing. So God is alive and God is well, and he's there, and you need to step out and go looking. So go looking. Taste the Lord. See that he's good. The Allman Brothers made an album long ago called Eatapeach. So go find the peach and eat it, and let it run down your chin. Goodbye now. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.